You know, I was actually gonna be expecting this to take a really long time to finally make this video because if you had seen my Yak Panther video, then you know that I'm not gonna do very well in 6.3 battles and above. Surprisingly, it actually went a lot better than I expected. Why you do this to me, game? Why? Hey guys, it's Jamie and welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Generals, but it's warthunder. And you know, I was actually gonna be expecting this to take a really long time to finally make this video because if you had seen my Yak Panther video, then you know that I'm not gonna do very well in 6.3 battles and above, as well as being evidenced in my Tiger video last week. Surprisingly, it actually went a lot better than I expected. Anyway, moving up the line of heavy tanks, we are now looking at the final tank that you can get in Heroes and Generals in the German faction, known as the Tiger 2H, also known as King Tiger or whatever you want to call it. Just like in real life, this thing is an absolute monster, especially with the recent BR changes, where this thing doesn't really face post-war tanks nearly as much anymore. But even so though, there are some tanks that you need to keep in mind. Let's break it down. So firstly, the armor. You have 150mm upper front plate right here, sloped at 15 degrees. Any tank at 5.7 battle rating goes up to your battle rating. Yeah, they are not getting through this anytime soon. And in fact, even some of the tanks at 6.7 will have difficulty going through this. And maybe sometimes some of the tanks that you face in an up tier. That's how protective this thing really is. To the point where I'll say, you know, if you don't feel like angling your tank, by all means, I don't really care. That's how protective this thing is. Most of the time, angle or not, they're not getting through this. Unless, of course, you come across a tank that uses heat shells or heat FS shells, to which, angle or no angle, that's not really gonna matter. Now, something to keep in mind is that, I know angling sounds like a good idea, but here's the thing though. Your sights are only 80mm that has no slope, especially down here. And the reason why I need to point this out is because, if you guys remember my IS2 video back then when it was at 5.7, and then I got up here to face this thing, yeah, then you will know that the 122mm Soviet APH in BC can actually punch right through this when it's angled, so I would say angle at your own risk. And then looking up at the front of the armor, if you bring Heroes and Generals logic into this, I mean you technically could by shooting the machine gun port right here, but it's at your own risk because as you can see, that's how very thick this upper front plate is to the point where you can actually see the thickness. So yeah, if you shoot somewhere around here, you know, it's shooting a double layer armor. If it's between life and death, then maybe you can try it, but to be honest though, not worth the risk at all. And then moving up the turret armor, you have a 185mm plane up here that has no slope whatsoever. I guess the curved turret armor design didn't really work out. Anyway, 185mm of armor right here does actually sound pretty protective, and it pretty much is. Most of the tanks you come across can't really penetrate this, especially if you angle or wiggle your turret like most content creators would tell you to do. Nothing wrong with that. Just that be very careful of a few guns like the American T-34 with the massive 120mm cannon can definitely go right through this. The Soviet 122mm and 100mm can actually punch right through this. As well as some guns that uses APDS like the Walker Bulldog and the Centurion Mark 1. And I know you guys would say that APDS doesn't really shrapnel too well, and I agree. But even so though, the fact that they can actually penetrate, that means you just don't underestimate them, okay? Sometimes you can get one-shotted by APDS. And sometimes angling actually does help, but keep in mind that guns that has a very good angle of penetration can shoot this. Even though it has the additional track armor on the sides, it's really not going to help too much if I'll be honest. And finally, unlike the Tiger H1, the Commander Hatch is really not an issue. Like, I've actually shot this multiple times myself and yeah, didn't work out. However, be very careful about one thing though, the roof armor isn't really that thick, unfortunately. And why is this a concern? Considering the fact that Gaijin decided to add all these annoying SPH self-propelled howitzers to battle rating 6.0 and 6.3, yeah, you can probably put the two and two together. HE hit this thing, yeah, that's a one shot right there. And then moving on, the fireball on this thing, this is the much bigger 88mm KWK-43 cannon. I think he's using the same shell, just that the round casing is different and the barrel is longer. Anyway, as the power 88mm goes, this is a shell that we'll be using, same as the Yak Panther, the armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shell. That pans up to 237mm of armor with 64 grams of explosive mass. Most of the tanks you come across in this battle rating you can actually punch right through, either in the upper front plate or in the lower glacis. But even so though, sometimes, especially when you get up there, you need to pick your shots very carefully. Because there are some tanks that are very well armored like the IS-3 and the Object 268. They can easily shrug this shell off, so I mean hell, just throw in the T-44 in as extra credit. Pick your shots carefully, understand your enemy tank's weak spots and everything. Now I do know that there's this thing called an APCR that this thing is available with, and as you can see, how often I don't really play 6.7. But if I'll be honest though, just stick to APC-BC. Like the APCR shell is really not worth using. I mean sometimes there will be moments where this shell is a saving grace, but if I'll be honest though, either this shell is already good enough or you come across a tank that is very well sloped that will pretty much shrug off the APCR regardless. And you do have two machine guns, two MG34s, one in the turret and one on the commander hatch up here. You do tear up those annoying Soviet milk trucks pretty easily, but just in case you come across something like, you know, an SU-100P, you may want to carry a few high explosives, just in case. And then moving on, the other aspects of the gun, you can carry up to 70 rounds of ammunition. Now I just say bring as many as you want. I know it looks like an explosive accident waiting to happen, but here's the annoying thing though. Yeah, if you haven't been playing the Tiger 2H for a while, they made this thing for stage ammo, so doesn't matter if you carry less ammo or more, there's gonna be ammo up here. And players in the know, which usually they are, will try and shoot this, either from the side or from the rear, or maybe they get lucky and shoot your turret plane right here, go right through and then just set off your ammunition, just like that. So yeah, so much so that maybe don't play hold down. Because if you play hold down, they are more enticed to shoot this. Anyway, reloading rate, 8 seconds. Now granted, I am running expert crew on with maxed out weapon reloading and leadership and higher level leadership. But to be honest though, 8 seconds is actually pretty good for something this massive. So yeah, use that to your advantage. Just then again, be very careful if you're in a close quarters situation. 8 seconds is more than enough for the enemy to actually push out and kill you. But in Guidance negative 8 gun depression, it's not too bad. I mean, sometimes I wish there's more, but it's really not too terrible. And finally, no gun stabilizer. It's not really a big deal, honestly, the gun doesn't really bounce nearly as much. But even so though, it still does bounce, so keep that in mind, be patient with your shots. And so there you have it, this is the Tiger 2H in War Thunder. Now how does this compare to the one in Heroes and Generals? If I'll be honest though, both tanks in both games has their ups and downs. Like the one in War Thunder, you know, the armor does work half the time, but unfortunately, it faces post-war tanks. I mean, even now, it still kinda does. And those post-war tanks do not care about these things' armor at all. Whereas in Heroes and Generals, you don't face post-war tanks, but until they added that broken-ass armor angle mechanic that they never really bothered fixing until the end of the game, the Tiger 2's armor in Heroes and Generals doesn't really work at all. 90mm, sometimes 76mm, 85mm, 122mm can actually punch right through this. Worst case scenario, they are using Iron Fist badge. I mean, like, as far as this weak spot right here, the machine gun port, if I can outgun this thing in my KV-85, yeah, you know there's something wrong with the armor in Heroes and Generals. I mean, in the end, I'd say maybe I'll give this one to War Thunder, because half the time, you know, 50% of the time, the armor does actually work. So no shed a moment of doubt on this thing. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this tank. Now let's take this thing on to battle and wish me luck, guys. Whatever happened to all heavy tanks pushing C? That's right, buddy. But no. Where's the Japanese Yak Tiger? There's the guy I'm not worried about. God damn it. Okay.
I'm sorry. We're controlling most of the zones. We've captured most of the strategic zones.
You have to forgive me, M109. I'm not the fastest thing ever.
Another zone captured. We have the advantage.
on, come on.
We've captured most of the strategic zones.
There you go. Ainda fosse gemo. Almost screwed up, dude.
Panzergranate geladen.
What am I doing?
Air 070, 1500 meters. Air 110, 1000 meters. Air 270, 200 meters. Enemy forces have captured the zone.
Enough with these fucking self-propelled howitzers, man. Oh my goodness.
Panzergranate geladen.
I've killed more than I want to count.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close. Panzergranate geladen. Attention to the designated grid zone.
You are definitely not something I want to see.
Air 260, 200 meters. Air 280.
Yeah, done. Oof.
Thank you very much. Panzergranate geladen. Air 250.
Ooh, dear me. Come on, turn left. I know you want to. Oh, it's a T-25? Oh, shh. I am so sorry, bud. definitely not somebody I want to see.
Panzergranate geladen. Panzergranate geladen. Panzergranate geladen. Wir wurden getroffen.
Yeah, you wanna piss off?
Panzergranate geladen. Enemy mortar captured the goal.
Sorry. But we really need to go.
Panzergranate geladen.
I'm not the guy I'm worried about. That's the SPH.
Panzergranate geladen.
Oh, that's the SPH.
Allied mortar captured the goal.
That's all I needed.
Attention to the map. Panzergranate geladen. Panzergranate geladen. Panzergranate geladen.
Unexpected threat in my ass.
Panzergranate geladen. Multiple strategic zones are captured. Panzergranate geladen.
Damn it.
Excellent. Panzergranate geladen. Attention to the designated threat zone. Yes.
It had to end. It had to end. Oh my goodness, dude. Yep, I bloody knew this was going to happen. So yeah, you guessed it, I'm dead, and I lived. You suck, buddy.
Panzergranate geladen.
Ah, yes, I would like to make myself known. Oh, come on.
Attention to the map. Panzergranate geladen. Ziel zerstört. Ziel zerstört.
Why you do this to me, game? Why?